So we are finally here after 4 years. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth came out, and I wanted to make this video since the original FF7 is my favorite game of all time, and I love the remake as well, despite it was relatively controversial. But with Rebirth, I had way higher expectations, so let's talk about it. First, I want to say my opinions spoiler free, and then I'll get to the spoiler part, and don't worry, I'll warn you before. So 4 years after the remake, it finally came out, and I put around 75 hours into it, and I got around 95%-ish completion. Now, did it worth the wait? Abso-fucking-lutely, this game is fantastic. Thank you for watching this video. Okay, let's actually talk about it. Now, I might be biased, because as I said, the OG is my favorite game ever, but I try to look at it objectively. This game is insanely good, but I'll try my best. So let's start. The combat in this game is probably the most fun I had gameplay-wise since like Elden Ring. And don't get me wrong, this game is not as hard as Elden Ring, but I would say it certainly is the hardest Final Fantasy game that I ever played. And I chose the normal difficulty. They took Remake's combat and made it better in every single aspect. They added to every single character, and just like in Remake, with the weapons you also get new abilities, which I would say are also better than it was. Now, for the new party members, Yuffie was in the DLC, so she doesn't really count, but she got new abilities as well, and her combat is one of the most broken shit in this game, despite the fact that I didn't really use her since I like the other characters more. Red 13 certainly has satisfying combat as well. He uses his claws, of course, and you charge up a bar called Vengeance mode, where you also do more damage, and with doing damage you get a little health back as well. And I'm not trying to say too much, but his abilities hit like a truck. Cait Sith was relatively underwhelming compared to the other two, but I still had my fair share of fun with him after I got enough abilities with him. The way you play him is you either stay a little kitten and do absolutely no damage, or you can summon your Moogle that does melee damage, but at the same time you can shoot ranged attacks with Cait Sith. With the Moogle you can dropkick or buff yourself, and also you can just hop off anytime and have your Moogle tank for you. Overall, Cait Sith's combat was kinda weird, but certainly fun. The overall gameplay loop of this game is you progress the main story, then you get to the current zone's town, where you get side quests and more main story. But you can also just do the word intel objectives, which are very fun. Overall, the side content in this game is insanely fun, and they add a lot to the main story as well. So I would recommend doing most of the side quests and all of the word intel objectives, because they are rewarding and it's so fun to explore in this game. In every zone there are a couple types of word intel objectives. There are the towers that show you where other intel objectives are. There are life springs, which if you find all of them you get a big boss fight for each zone. There are the fiend intels, which are normal fights that gives you objectives like pressure them and stagger them and kill them under the time limit. Pretty simple. Every zone also has a summon, which you need to check out the altars of the summons for to make them easier. And don't worry, on the Odin summon I spent an hour trying, despite finding all the altars, making him the weakest I could. Also, if you get these summons, you can level them up only by finding these altars, and there is a proto-relic chain objective in every zone that I won't really talk about because we are in the no spoilers territory.
And last but not least, there are also Moogle houses, which I once again will not talk about because I don't want to spoil the game.
But doing these word intel objectives also unlock combat simulator fights at Chadley, for which you can get materia rewards, and you also get currency that you can spend at Chadley for materia. So yes, very fun, very rewarding. Now I'll try to talk about the story and the music and the visuals without spoiling anything, so let's do that. The story is pretty much the same as the original, but way more and more detailed as well. It just took the OG story and added so much to it, just like it was in the remake pretty much. Like, at a certain point, the game just starts dumping lore of the ancients on you, and I loved it. The characters are just like in the OG, they're on point, they're literally perfectly captured. Now stop here with this and continue in the spoiler section. And yeah, all I'm gonna say about the music here is that it's just insane how many songs are in this game and how well they are remade from the OG. Like, in the remake there was like one remake of each song. Here there is like 3 and also a battle version for each of them that also has seamless transition from the normal version. Like, sometimes I was just losing my mind listening to the OST. And without spoiling anything, I'll say that they literally took every single town in the OG and made them much bigger and better, but they are perfectly captured vibe. I consider this no spoiler since it was in trailers and it's like the first 2 hours of this game. But here's OG Com from 1997 and here's Com in 2024. It's crazy. But I'll stop right here and let's move to the spoiler section. Spoiler warning! Skip to the verdict section if you didn't finish the game yet. Warning, warning, spoilers, spoilers. Okay, let's get into it. I honestly can't tell you everything that this game made me feel as someone who has so much love for the original. This game was like a gift. And I don't even remember the last time a piece of media made me this happy. Like, as I said, I had massive expectations from this game, and it literally exceeded on all of them. Like, let's actually get to the spoilers. Do the goddamn side content. Jesus Christ. I was just getting the proto relics and the Sephiroth pulls up telling me to bring him the black material. Like, what the fuck is going on? Imagine missing out on all of that, but like, they literally took the original game and added so much extensions to it. And they didn't need to. Like, the game would have been good, but no, Square were like, let's make this insane. For example, adding a girlfriend to Barrett wasn't necessary, but it made his story even sadder. And they once again, like in the OG, nailed the theme of loss. For example, there is an entire section in the Temple of the Ancients where each character confronts their past trauma, and it was absolutely nuts. But once again, they didn't need to add it, but they did, because the devs love the game as much as the fans do, and it shows. They took the original game and gave it the love that it deserves. Every single conversation, every single area, and every single character has been made deeper and deeper. Like, for example, I'd say in the OG game, like 95% of the players hate Cait Sith, me included, but in this game I loved him. And I even felt sad for him when he had to betray us. And also Red 13's trial and the entire town of Cosmo Canyon was unbelievable. The scene where Bugenhagen explains that planet was one of the most beautiful scenes I've ever seen. And when Red 13 reveals he's actually a child, I was laughing my ass off how he changed his voice. Like, this game is serious but still keeps the same old goofy aspect that the OG had. Like, when you fight for the keystone in the Golden Saucer and the Turks pull up and they literally bring in a bench so that you can rest and the fight is fair. Like, this game made me get hyped at points, made me laugh my ass off at character interactions. For example, when you are in Gongaga and Yuffie just sits on the couch and sings her own theme. It was just so unnecessary but added so much to the game, for me at least.
I am so bored right out of my brain. If I don't die first, bet y'all go insane.
That's her own
'Cause
theme.
I've got nothing else to do. I'm stuck here wasting time. But just wait, oh materia, I'll get back on the road and make you mine.
It made me sad as hell at certain points. Now, talking about absolute fucking sadness, let's talk about the ending. Because I could talk about the entire story for hours, but it's pretty much the same as the OG, but more. Alright, so here we go, the ending. I read a lot of disappointment about the ending, and yes, it was complicated as hell, but I have to say it's exactly what I wanted. The game makes you think the entire time that this time you can save Aerith, but nope, you can't, and that's exactly what I wanted from it. they made it hurt even more, despite the fact that it was so complicated for a while. I thought I did save her, but once I understood what happened, I couldn't stop thinking about the ending scene. So it was very complicated, but I'll try my best to explain it as far as I understood it. So, Aerith's white materia stopped working because the Whispers took her knowledge of the future away that she told Marlene about in the remake. Also, Marlene knows about it in Zack's timeline and tells Zack that if Cloud doesn't wake up first to protect Aerith, then she's gonna die. So, Cloud wakes up with Aerith on a different timeline, which means that somehow another Aerith dragged our Cloud there, and in this timeline the planet is already doomed because of that scar in the sky. That means that it's doomed. So Aerith from this timeline gives Cloud her white materia, so Aerith in our timeline can cast Holy, so Cloud gives it to her. But before that, on our way back, Sephiroth explains that there are infinite timelines, and whenever something important happens, a new timeline is created. And Sephiroth's plan is the new reunion, where he combines all these timelines and rules them all. And he also says that he gives Cloud his blessing, which I think means that Cloud now has access to see them and communicate between the timelines, I guess. It's kind of complicated, but that's what I got from this. So, there are now also two types of Whispers, and the white ones are with Aerith, while the black ones are with Sephiroth. So, we give our Aerith the white materia and move into the Forgotten Capital. So, first the white Whispers hold us back, so Aerith have time to finish her prayer, and then the black Whispers only let Cloud in. So once we get to the iconic scene, both the black and white Whispers hold Cloud back, so Aerith can finish her prayer once again. And when Cloud blocks Sephiroth's sword, you can see a cold glow that was shown before. That means that a new timeline has been created, where Aerith dies, and that's where Sephiroth swaps us to. So this is where we get to theories. Now there's two of them. Now, one of them is that Cloud either talks to Aerith through the live stream or through different timelines, or the other one is he's so insane that he can't cope with Aerith dying, so he acts like she's still there, which is kinda similar to what he did with Zack's dad, so it's kinda believable. But there are multiple things here that confirms both theories. First, right here, Sephiroth said you'll never see the truth with such cloudy eyes, meaning that Cloud is on hard copium and he just can't believe that Aerith died. Now, since the timelines collided here and Cloud actually swapped, that's why we also meet Zack in the fight against Sephiroth, and then the team also fights Sephiroth through multiple timelines. I guess. As I said, it's kinda complicated. So in the final fight against Sephiroth, Cloud and Aerith teams up to fight Sephiroth, and after we beat him, Aerith disappears in this green livestream-like thingy, representing that she is a part of the livestream now, and she also pulls Zack to another timeline so he doesn't die. And we can see it multiple times that Cloud doesn't see the same thing as the rest of the team. For example, here you can see the blood while Cloud doesn't, and he talks to her while from Tifa POV she looks dead. And then when the team mourns her, Cloud still sees her, and skipping the part where he puts her into the water as a funeral kind of thing is skipped either because he's delusional or he's stuck between timelines. Now, as I said, that this could mean that Cloud is completely delusional or he's stuck between two timelines. And he talks with the Aerith that lived. Then we get to the revelation that Sephiroth was basically Glenn, trying to manipulate Rufus to focus on Wutai instead of Sephiroth. We can also see the Black Whispers messing around with the weapons and the Robed Man getting ready for the reunion. And after that we get our final cutscene of the group mourning Aerith's death, fixing the tiny Bronco. Now, nobody else can see Aerith except Cloud, but when she touches Red 13, he feels her. Now, this was either through the livestream or through the timelines. And here we also see Cloud holding the empty white materia that turns into the black materia. So once again, he's either completely delusional or he's stuck in between timelines. And here he warns the team not to look up. And the scar in the sky is a delusion. but only Cloud can see it once again. So this I think means that the timeline where Aerith lives is doomed, but our timeline with Aerith being dead still can be saved. And then Cloud talks with Aerith for the last time, where she says, "Don't worry, it's like a second home," meaning either the live stream or the other timeline. And in this scene where they say goodbye, I kinda get the feeling that Cloud does realize that she's dead, but isn't super sad about it either, because he can still talk to her through the live stream or the other timelines. Now, yes, I know we are theorizing and this was a batshit insane, but it's kinda hard to come to a conclusion yet. Overall, this ending was absolutely crazy and kinda what I expected after Remake's ending. It's gonna be really good seeing Cloud losing his mind in the next game, especially after this ending. Like, he's even crazier than in the OG. I really hope we get a DLC that helps us come to a conclusion about this, because I think both the theories I was talking about are possible. Now, for someone who is this big of a fan of the OG FF7, it's quite easy to say that this game is instantly became one of my favorite games of all time, and I'll never forget this experience. And from my point of view, this game is 777 out of 10, but even if I try and look at it objectively, it's an easy 10 out of 10. It was truly a life-changing game that brought me so much happiness and joy just from seeing these characters interact, and all I wanna say is thank you so much, Square Enix, for loving this game, because I love it just as much, and I'm going to spend my next 3-4 years impatiently waiting for the last part of the FF7 Remake trilogy. And for everyone watching, make sure to give your opinions on the ending down in the comments, because I need all of the knowledge.
And thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, make sure to drop a like and subscribe. And also catch me live on twitch.tv/FrostyTV, where I stream World of Warcraft and other games as well. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Peace.